he pulled me to himself, wrapped his arms around me, and tried to kiss me. And in that moment, I literally died.
Ain't no money like church money. He was doing all the things to try to get his image straightened up.
This was a shock to many in the religious community. Bishop TDJakes has been a spiritual advisor to presidents and a religious voice to thousands.
It's hard to put in perspective unless he's involving himself what is actually going on at the parties.
Dallas Bishop TDJakes has just stepped down as leader of the Potter's House megachurch after being named in a lawsuit connected to Diddy. Diddy's trial is just 2 weeks away now, and major celebrities who allegedly attended Diddy's freak-off parties are scrambling. Reports that Diddy was using TDJakes to clean his image, and that there are videos showing TDJakes at Diddy's parties, have come forward. TDJakes is being sued by Pastor Youngblooded for sexual abuse, and things are about to get much worse for him. TDJakes knows that his time is up.
This was a shock to many in the religious community. Bishop TDJakes has been a spiritual advisor to presidents and a religious voice to thousands. Now he says it's time to pass the baton to a new generation.
This is a beautiful moment for me.
From the pulpit Sunday, Bishop TDJakes announced that he was stepping down from leadership at the Potter's House, the Dallas megachurch he founded in 1996 and has led ever since.
I cannot afford, especially after November, to risk something happening to me and you be sheep without a shepherd.
This is video from the service Jakes is referencing in November. It wasn't until months after his medical incident that he confirmed to the public he had a heart attack. Now, 5 months later, he told his congregation he had been preparing his daughter, Pastor Sarah Jakes Roberts, and his son-in-law, Pastor Torrey Roberts, to take.
Fans are peeling back the layers of TDJakes' alleged relationship with Diddy, and the more you look at it, the wilder it gets. TDJakes was first named in connection to Diddy after ex-producer Rodney "Lil Rod" Jones filed a lawsuit against Sean Combs back in 2024. In this lawsuit, Lil Rod alleged that Diddy planned to leverage his relationship with Jakes to help soften the negative impact on his public image following Cassie's lawsuit against Diddy. In exchange for money, TDJakes was prepared to use his influence to help out Diddy.
Williams calls out Bishop TDJakes and watches TDJakes and Gino Jennings' response.
I came in this business saying I was going to expose. When I talked about Michael Jackson, when I talked about R. Kelly, they canceled me for these things because why would you talk about another black dude? Race is not where the line is drawn. It's God's side and the other side. And we don't care nothing about the other side. Period. Period. All of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. TDJakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way.
Good. I'm good. I'm fine. I'm good because I know the truth.
World-renowned Dallas pastor TDJakes is named in a federal lawsuit against musician Sean "Diddy" Combs.
It's filed by a producer that worked with Combs. It discusses how the singer planned to leverage his relationship with the bishop to soften the impact on his public image of Casey Ventura's lawsuit. Ventura is a former girlfriend of Combs who filed her own lawsuit in November alleging abuse, violence, and sex trafficking.
Could this federal investigation have come out of these private lawsuits?
Oh, absolutely. If it involves sex trafficking or drugs or weapons or other illegal behavior.
Lori Levinson is a former federal prosecutor.
They've decided this is worth a lot of resources across the country. So once they've done these searches, they have evidence to follow up on. And if they've got it, they'll move.
On the 25th of November, Bishop TDJakes filed a defamation lawsuit against fellow pastor Dwayne Youngblood. Pastor Youngblooded claimed that TDJakes had tried to sexually assault him when he was just 18 years old and had even tried to abuse him in the church during service. Youngblooded allegedly had witnesses and phone records to back up his claims, and the things he was saying were horrifying.
After taking him back to her home, he says, "Come on in, let's talk." you can't even imagine being 18, 19 years of age. This person is killing it, and they're saying to you, come on in, let's talk. And so I did. I went in. We sat down at a very long dining room table in a room that she had. And for 2 hours, it was unbelievable. Pouring of heart, crying, him talking about my father. We talking about these scenarios. And I inwardly just knew I had finally found someone who could get it. Someone who understood. I'm sitting at this table, and for the first time talking to any man, I got tears coming down my face because somebody gets me. Somebody understood what I was going through. Well, after sitting there and having this long discourse with him, I finally look at my watch and I'm like, oh my goodness, I got to go. I got to get this car back to my mother. She's going to kill me. So I said to Bishop, I got to get up. And I got up from the table. He got up from the table. He walked around toward the way I had to exit quicker than I got over there. And when I started to walk past him, he pulled me to himself, wrapped his arms around me and tried to kiss me. And in that moment, I literally died. I could not. I tell you, to this day, I can't remember how I got out of that place.
The behavior that Pastor Youngblood is claiming is backed up by the testimonies of several people close to Diddy. TDJakes was a regular at Diddy's freak-off parties, and it doesn't make sense for a pastor to be at those parties. To make matters worse, some of the participants of TDJakes' congregation from that day are also allegedly ready to testify in support of Pastor Youngblood. They saw how suspiciously TDJakes was behaving that day, and they knew something was wrong.
It's Elder Jakes, and I get on that phone, and when I get on that telephone, I can hear water. He is sitting in a bathtub, and in that thing, he says to me, without any hesitation, there's 3 things I need you to do. The first one is, when I come to Pittsburgh, you're going to be the only person I sleep with. The second one is, you can't sleep with anybody else because I don't want to give my wife anything. And thirdly, I will take care of you the rest of your life. I can't to this day remember how I got off that phone, but I do know I made a decision that I wasn't going to the service that night. And eventually I told my mother, I'm not going to go to service tonight. She says, no, no, no. You know, we got a rule in this house. If we go, you go. I never told her what he had done. I went to church, and the most humiliating thing imaginable happened that night at church. Bishop Jakes, getting up to preach, speaks into that microphone. I'm going to ask young minister Youngblood to read for me. And after all of that drama of the last 24 hours, I had to read before he preached.
He also claims that, Diddy, he was using TDJakes to fix his image. You believe that?
Well, we saw that to be true anyway. That's what he was trying to do all that time. That's why TDJakes was there, to try to fix his image. Ain't no money like church money. He was doing all the things to try to get his image straightened up.
I mean, it makes sense. And he also said in this lawsuit that when he was around Diddy, he seen Diddy give out guns, a lot of guns. And he said that the environment around Diddy was violent.
The Potter's House megachurch is a multi-billion-dollar church, and TDJakes knows that the fallout from his indictment could be massive. He has handed over the reins to make sure that his business doesn't suffer. 2024 was not his year. First, his ex-in-law got arrested for molesting minors, and now TDJakes is being sued for sexual assault too.
Is Richard Brandon Coleman. He is the ex-husband of TDJakes' oldest daughter, Cora Jakes Coleman. Richard has been arrested on May 4th, 2022 for the continuous molestation and sexual abuse of a child or children. It is being reported by family members that the child that he was abusing is their now 13-year-old adopted daughter, Amari.
So I want to get right into it, man. How you feel about these rumors surrounding, Diddy and TDJakes?
Man, what I think about it is this, when I grew up in the church, the sinners was not supposed to have the same atmosphere with the saints. You have to be able to separate the two. So I'm looking at him as a saint going to a party that ain't nothing but sin, drinking, maybe fornication, man on man, woman on woman, he on she. But maybe he there to lay some hands on somebody. Maybe he there to save some souls. I know he got a contract with Revolt, so I'm just like, it's just real strange that he would be found at any kind of Diddy party or any kind of place with Diddy unless it's in a business atmosphere. So now what he's doing is he's making, man, he making the Christians look real bad right about now.
Gene Deal says that it's hard to imagine why someone like TDJakes would be at a Diddy party. Even back when Gene was with Diddy, everyone knew what was going on at these parties. For someone like TDJakes to be present at those parties and be a regular there, it just doesn't make sense.
I think that he's going to the Diddy parties, bruh. If he's going, well, we know he's going to the Diddy parties, and I know that it's, I know what usually happens at the Diddy party, or what we told us happened at the Diddy parties. Maybe he needs to see it for himself, man. Maybe he needs to go there and really be involved in some things that could help save some individuals while they going to those parties. Or maybe he just going to, man, it's hard to even talk about. Why would you find a religious man, when you know that the saints supposed to separate themselves from the sinners, and why would a religious man like himself be at a party which ain't nothing but sin that's going on, bro? Whether it's drinking, maybe fornicating, maybe, like I said, men on men, women on women. It's hard to put in perspective unless he's involving himself what is actually going on at the parties.
It's not just TDJakes that's stepping away from Diddy. Will Smith, Ellen DeGeneres, and even Diddy's lawyers have all stepped back from Diddy. The law firm Diddy has been with Grubman, Shire, Mycelas, and Sachs for over 20 years has also dropped him as a client. No one wants to go down with Diddy, and they're all saving their own skin.
Diddy Combs' legal team is getting a little smaller. As the rap mogul's defense team prepares for his May trial on sex trafficking charges, his attorney Anthony Rico respectfully but regrettably requested to be dismissed from his role, according to documents obtained by NBC News. Rico, who is one of 6 attorneys on the case, requested in the February 21st filing to withdraw as representation because, quote, under no circumstances can I continue to effectively serve as counsel for Sean Combs, consistent with the ABA standards for criminal justice. The motion continues, quote, while I'm aware that the local rule requires that an application for withdrawal of counsel is supported and granted only upon a showing by affidavit or otherwise of satisfactory reasons for withdrawal, there are sufficient reasons related to the protections afforded by the attorney-client privilege for brevity in my application for withdrawal as counsel in this case.
So the high-powered law firm of Grubman, Shire, Mycelas, and Sachs has dropped Combs as a client. Now, this is the firm of Alan Grubman, who is a very prominent entertainment lawyer that represents some very big names. The Weeknd, Madonna, Chris Brown, Paul Simon, Usher, Bruce Springsteen. In fact, by the way, Alan Grubman was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He actually helped found that back in the 1980s. So, gives you an idea about how big of a powerhouse this firm is. Now let's go back to Sean Combs. So the rumor circulating is that this firm did this because singer and actress Lady Gaga had threatened to leave the firm unless they parted ways with Combs. This is according to reporting by News Nation. And it's a big deal because the rapper and producer had apparently been with Grubman's firm for over 20 years. He was friends with Alan Grubman by all accounts.
Diddy's also taken another page from TDJakes' playbook. He's trying to make it look like he had no idea what he was doing and that his mental capacity was diminished. According to court documents, a motion was filed by Diddy's attorneys on Sunday, April 27th, claiming that due to the effects of drugs and alcohol, Diddy's mental capacity was diminished. If this motion is accepted, Diddy would basically get away with everything.
Attacked on cross-examination. Their character will be impugned. They will attack the victims for not coming forward until Cassie Ventura came forward. How do you fix that? You find an outcry witness. What is an outcry witness? An outcry witness is someone the victim told about at the time. So 10 years ago, I told you Sean Combs raped me at this party. I told you that then, but I never made a police report. That adds credence, credibility to the victim's statement. So a lot of victims are going to be attacked because they continued in a seemingly friendly relationship with Combs. A lot of women do that. Your boss makes advances on you unwanted. What do? Quit and starve? There's a lot of reasons women maintain a relationship with the rapist. So we may lose credibility on a couple of witnesses, but the sheer number of them, I find it hard to believe that a jury will choose to disbelieve all of these ladies and choose to believe Sean Combs.
So it looks like they're going to try and say that Diddy's mental capacity could not make it possible for him to commit these crimes, claiming that maybe drugs or alcohol could have been at fault. Apparently, a couple of weeks ago, the prosecution offered Diddy a plea deal, which he turned down. We don't know the details of what that plea deal entailed, but he said he's not taking it. This is coming after they've added additional charges, like the second superseding indictment. You know that Cassie video where you see Diddy dragging her in a hotel from 2016? The judge says that it can be included after Diddy's defense team had been trying to have it not included. So according to People magazine, they said prosecutors recently filed a motion disputing any testimony that might show that Sean Diddy Combs didn't have, quote, the mental capacity to commit the crimes he's accused of because of the effects of drugs or alcohol. The motion filed on April 27th references apparent testimony from a psychiatrist on behalf of the defense and asked the judge to prevent his testimony during Combs.
Allegedly, there are tapes which show TDJakes being intimately involved with men at Diddy's parties. These tapes were recovered from Diddy's mansion during the raid back in November. Diddy is trying to get these tapes suppressed by claiming that the FBI had no right to search his mansion.
You can't, I really don't know why, as a spiritual advisor to him, that they buddy while he got a party with him like that and be at his parties. It's got to be, maybe it's something more that meets the eye. You know, I don't know. You know, I've had, I've talked to preachers and I've talked to reverends and priests, but they ain't never came to a party with me or nothing like that. So it's hard to figure that one out, bruh, without even saying, you know, what people might be thinking. But I heard that there's supposed to be some tapes or something that's coming out real soon. And I guess we'll all really know the truth if anything's on those tapes.
The allegations implicate dozens of unidentified witnesses and alleged co-conspirators around the world. And some of the key witnesses to the supposed incidents are dead. Basically meaning, how can we defend against it? The defense is not even permitted to share the identities of the individuals described in the disclosure letter with Mr. Combs until April 18th, further hampering defense counsel's ability to investigate. Collectively, these new allegations require many months, if not years, to investigate, and if admitted, would require a series of mini-trials, certain to double the length of a trial the government originally said would last 3 weeks. So this is an explosive allegation that on its face, I don't know if I necessarily disagree with. If they are bringing in evidence of uncharged conduct, wouldn't the defense have an opportunity to investigate it and challenge it? It seems like they're making a point. So if this evidence is allowed in, there is a chance this could delay the trial significantly. We all know Combs wants to go to trial, but how can he properly defend himself against this in just a few?
Diddy's lawyers wanted to delay the trial, but the judge said no. In a court filing last week, Diddy's lawyer Mark Agnifilo asked Judge Subramanian to delay the trial because he needed more time to prepare his defense to new charges brought on April 4th. Diddy's lawyers claimed that they needed 2 more months to prepare for the trial. However, the motion was denied.